Hey everybody, I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about what Know Your Numbers really means. And so Know Your Numbers is something that Dr. Sam and I came up with here at Cornerstone Chiropractic. And what we did is we sat down and looked at some of the measurements and some of the lab tests that you could do that are going to tell you the most about your body and your overall health and well-being, and hopefully actually help you to be preventative in the long run for your health. So one really important aspect to the 3 tests that we chose in Know Your Numbers is the immune system. And so I know right now many people are wondering what they need to do to take care of their immune system, wondering if they're going to become sick, and if so, how severe. And we want to help you focus on some ways to strengthen your immune system, some tests you can do to be on the front end of looking out for your body, looking out for your health, and making sure that you're doing everything you can to give your immune system a chance to be its strongest. So the 3 tests that we wanted to focus in on for Know Your Numbers are the following: your vitamin D level, your omega-6-3 ratio, and your fasting insulin level. And I'm just going to tell you a little bit about each test so you can understand them a little bit better and what that means. So your vitamin D levels are very important to the immune system. They also are very important for your heart health, your bone health, and also your mental health. So specific to the immune system, we can see that people with lower vitamin D levels tend to have higher rates of viral and bacterial infections. They also are more prone to COPD, asthma, tuberculosis infections, and a variety of different things associated with respiratory, specifically immune issues and conditions. We also know that low vitamin D levels are associated with increased risk of death or mortality from all causes across the board. So vitamin D levels are very important to keep an eye on. And also the majority of you listening are probably right here in Minnesota in our northern climate, and it's impossible essentially to make vitamin D from the sun during about 6 months out of the colder weather winter months. And so it is important to be monitoring this and making sure we know where our levels are at and how to manage those for our best health. The second test, like I mentioned, is the omega-6-3 ratio. This takes a look at the ratio of your omega-3 fats in your blood to your omega-6 fats in your blood. For the most part, as a generalization, the omega-3 fats tend to be very anti-inflammatory. And as with vitamin D, they also play a critical role in our immune system. Now, there's a little bit less research as far as specifically viral versus bacterial infections as far as omega-3s go, and we do know that they specifically support general immunity, and so that is a positive thing as well. We also know that omega-3s play a critical role in our heart health, our mental health, our eye health, our weight management, and also with any type of inflammatory conditions, pain syndromes, or joint issues, joint health. And so the very wide range of ways in which the omega-3 fatty acids play a role in our health. It's very important. We also can see more broadly, as with vitamin D, that omega-6-3 ratio can be correlated with death risk or mortality risk. And so when they looked at what's actually the offspring of the Framingham Heart Study, they found that any cause death risk was decreased by 33% in those participants who had the highest omega index compared to those who had the lowest omega index. They also found a very interesting finding in that this omega index was actually a better predictor of death risk than using serum cholesterol, which is used, as you probably know, much more often in our healthcare model today. The third test, as I mentioned, is the fasting insulin level. And so high fasting insulin tends to be a good indicator of insulin resistance. And insulin resistance increases our risk of heart disease, diabetes, weight gain, and also cancer. And so we do know when we look at the current situation that there is a higher risk of having complications with coronavirus in those who have underlying medical conditions, which do include things like diabetes and severe obesity, both of which are associated with altered insulin function. So we do believe that taking a look at these insulin levels is a very important part of our overall health and well-being and approaching our health from a more preventative sense. So as I mentioned, the month of April is our Know Your Numbers education campaign. We want you to learn more about these tests and understand why they are important. We also want to make them available to you. And so lab testing can get very expensive when you go into a medical facility and have different lab tests ordered, and we know that, we understand that. These kits are already pretty inexpensive as far as lab tests go. So if you were to have all 3 of these tests on any given day throughout the year, the total for the 3 tests would be $230. So what we're doing for the month of April is we're actually discounting that by $50 when you get them as a bundle. And so it's $180 to have all of the testing that I just spoke about. And the omega-6-3 ratio test is actually a panel and will give the levels of all of the different fatty acids in your blood. So it's a very extensive test and provides a lot of information for you. I also will just take a minute to show you how you go about doing these tests. And so if this is something that you're interested in doing, you would contact our office so we could set you up for that. We give you these take-home kits, which are very easy to do. They're all put together with the materials that you need to complete the test. You just simply take out the little lancet, the little sample card, and you can go ahead and just do a little finger prick, put a drop of blood on the card, let it dry. Fill out the little form with your name and personal information, and then there is also the mailing materials right here as well. So you can send it right into the lab. They will send us the information, the results, and then we will get that information to you and sit down and go through that with you and show you where things could use some improvements and what types of approach would be best for whatever your results might be. Hopefully you have found some useful information here, learned something new, and certainly let us know if you have any questions. We'd be happy to answer those for you and provide you with any additional information that we can. Thank you.